Star Communication presents Championship Football. Today, it's the South Jersey Group 1 Final. The Flashes of Florence High School visit the Red Raiders of Paulsboro High School. Hi again, everybody. Mike Lindner along with Steve Crispin. We're here on a rainy, chilly, windy day at Paulsboro for this South Jersey Group 1 Final. Florence and Paulsboro matching up. And Steve, this all started back in September for everybody, and now in Group 1 it's down to these final two. Championship football on the first Saturday in December, and since they started this in '75, it has become just a great feature of high school football.
And if you're a Paulsboro Red Raider fan, this is a position they've been longing to be in for a number of years. Position to win a Group 1 championship and also to cap an undefeated season. For Florence, it has been a great season for them. A lot of unanswered questions at the beginning of this year, and certainly now an opportunity for them to also cap their season off with a Group 1 championship.
And whenever you talk about championship teams, before you talk about the players, you have to talk about the coaches. And there's two outstanding ones here today. And interestingly, both of them graduates of the particular school that they're coaching.
Well, Joe Frapoli's done an excellent job up there in Florence in terms of keeping this program a very competitive one. Hard-nosed football we're going to see from the Florence Flashes today. And this is a position they've been in a number of times. They come in here 4-5 in Group 1 playoff history. Not one of the more successful teams, but a team that's continued to be in there and a very competitive in Group 1 play. As far as Paulsboro is concerned, Glenn Howard, enough's been said about Glenn Howard throughout the course of this season. The excellent job that he's done here at Paulsboro in terms of, again, maybe rebuilding a little bit of this program that saw some down years just a few years ago, but certainly one of the most productive teams and most successful teams in Group 1 play. 16-5, they come in a record in Group 1, certainly very successful, 6 titles, and as we said before, nothing more than they would like to do today than tap it off an undefeated season.
And for each team, if they're going to go anywhere offensively, it's going to start with the quarterbacks. Paulsboro has a real storied quarterback. On the other side, the team does not have a bad one either. Florence has a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a key in both of these games. Certainly the play of the quarterbacks is going to be big. As far as Florence is concerned, they will come out with a very balanced attack. Marcus Smith, their quarterback, has had a very good year. He's got a kind of quarterback that you got to be careful with. He can pass the ball. They've been very effective. He's got a good core of receivers. Yet they got 2 fine halfbacks that we're going to be talking about today. It's a team with a lot of balance. And if there's one thing that Paulsboro's had problems with this year, is facing teams with a little bit of balance. Struggled a little bit with Gloucester last week. Gloucester's the kind of team that can put the ball in the air effectively. They run the ball effectively. That's something we're going to have to look for early in this ball game. Kevin Harvey, he does it all. And I think that's got to be a key for Florence coming into this game. Joe Frapoli and his staff have been working for the last week. How are we going to stop Kevin Harvey? You've got to take him out of the ball game. He can hurt you in so many ways. But then again, I think that's where Paulsboro's strength is, that they can hurt you in so many ways. Great quarterbacks, Tyrone, Bradshaw, who will start at the tailback position. Artis Ruffin, great game last week, over 100 yards rushing, coming in and substituting for Bradshaw. We've seen the ability that they have in terms of throwing the ball against a fine Sterling team, so really anything can happen.
And on the other side, they've got a couple of good running backs, most notably the young man Giroux.
Yeah, Giroux, the fullback position, already carried for over 600 yards. On the other side, you have Taylor, who's done an excellent job at the halfback spot, over 500 yards rushing this year. And as we said, that's where the key is going to be. Florence must come out. They must be able to run a balanced attack. And as we can see here, certainly the weather conditions are going to play a factor into that part of the game.
And of course, you're watching us under the umbrella for the first time this season. And usually that's an equalizer when you get a couple of high-powered teams together. And it means that defense will be featured today. And defensively, at least when you look at points scored, we've got 2 of the best in South Jersey.
Well, you have Paulsboro coming in, averaging or giving up an average of less than a touchdown a game. Florence, if you take away their 1 loss earlier in the season, they're giving up less than a touchdown a game. Defense is going to be key. Florence comes in this ball game with a 6-0 victory over Palmyra. Palmyra, a team that features some fine backs with a lot of speed. So it's something that they have seen. They're a defensive-oriented team. It's been quoted in the papers. Joe Frapoli knows he cannot get in a shootout with Paulsboro. He's got to let defense be the key, and it's going to be dictated early on how effective they're going to be in that part of the game.
All right, championship football, South Jersey Group 1, to be decided here today. The Flashes of Florence, the Red Raiders of Paulsboro. Football coming up right after these words.
At 9-1, and the Paulsboro Raiders are the defense.
Paulsboro's won the toss and is elected to defer until the second half. We're just about to get underway in this Group 1 final for the championship of South Jersey. The Flashes of Florence High School, the Red Raiders of Paulsboro High School. Mike Lindner along with Steve Crispin. And this is going to be a good one. The rain that was heavier earlier has slowed to a trickle, and hopefully it will remain no worse than that. Jason Lucci will tee it up for Paulsboro, and standing deep will be Alan Giroux, number 30 for Florence. Lucci, one of the better kickers in all of South Jersey, leading the way, in fact, in PATs, but we'll talk about that later. It will go to the far side and picked up by Mike Connolly. Connolly looking for running room up the sideline, spins and turns and gets a couple of extra yards, and he'll have the ball out to close to the 30-yard line, where Florence will start offensively for the first time this afternoon. Starting in the backfield for Florence, at quarterback wearing number 8 will be Marcus Smith. He's a 6'2", 182-pound junior. Darnell Taylor, one of the running backs, a sophomore, and Adam Giroux, the featured back, a senior, wearing number 30. Joe Massarini will be the flanker back, number 39, but they're going to go with Giroux, no surprise, as they try left tackle. And the young man is able to pick up about 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6. On the line for Florence, Mike Connolly is the wide receiver. John Gola and Joe Shamiko the tackles. Nick Rapisi and Bill Pullen are the guards. Adam Zortorski is the center. They'll go to the I formation in this setup. Eric Garrett is the fullback blocking for Giroux, and they have the first down of the afternoon, it appears, depending on the spot, as they approach the 40-yard line and perhaps have it right there. The officials for today, the Corps is led by referee Bill Swanson, who's indicated he's going to call for a measurement. Gives us a chance to talk about the defense for Paulsboro, and it's been a good one. The front 5, Eric DePietro and Wayne Hampton at the tackle or end positions, as we see the first down indication. Mike Bell and Matt Davis at tackles, and Brian Peck is the nose guard. The inside linebackers scheduled to go, Tyrone Bradshaw and Ray Miller. Greg Harvey is one of the corners, and on the other side, Eric Frisbee getting the start today. And also in the defensive backfield, Artis Ruffin and Isaac Hardy. Giroux again. And Steve, it appears, as we expected, based on the statistics coming into this ball game today, if Florence were going to go anywhere on the ground, it was going to be with the running of Adam Giroux.
And surprising, coming out with a one-back attack. Normally with the 2 backs back there, they decided to isolate with Giroux. Doing a real nice job of getting things started, coming off on the tackle, coming off tackle. Story of the today's ball game is going to be what they're going to be able to do up front and how effectively they are going to be in neutralizing this front defensive front of Paulsboro.
One more time. Well, they didn't neutralize it that time. Who comes up with that tackle? The big guy, Brian Peck, Jr., 185-pounder coming from the nose guard position, and Peck just got rid of his blockers. Zatorsky was unable to handle him at all at the center position, and there'll be a loss on that play of a yard and a half. It will be 3rd and about 9.
Look for a little stun on the inside. Peck trying to shoot the gap there, was able to do so right over the center position, follows through right in front of the guard who's pulling on the play, and takes him down for the loss and bring up the 3rd down and long.
Let's see if Smith goes to the air for the first time as he brings Connolly in motion. It's going to be the draw to Giroux. Giroux had running room at the initial point of attack, but Bradshaw closed quickly from the corner position and made the stop, and Florence will be forced into a punting situation as the ball is marked at the Florence 44-yard line. Standing deep will be Mike Connolly to punt. And number 8, Kevin Harvey, will be the lone safety, nearly blocked, and as a result, it is a very short punt, and Paulsboro will be in excellent field position as they will get the ball for the first time today. They will have it at their own 34-yard line.
Well, Connolly very lucky just to get that ball off. Took a lot of time in setting himself up for the punt. Paulsboro getting in there. Looked like they may have made some contact, but as you mentioned, Paulsboro will take over in good field position, and now it will be up to the Florence Flashes defense to see how well they can do against this fine, powerful Paulsboro offense.
Offensively in the backfield, number 8, Kevin Harvey. Number 18, Eric DePietro. Number 23, Tyrone Bradshaw. Harvey is just going to turn and run, try to come around left end, makes the step back inside, and Harvey with a late hit from Connolly, but he gets away with it, will advance the ball just over the 40-yard line, where there'll be a pickup of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4.
Great block by Brian Nevis, who's the wide receiver, cracking back on the defensive end, who was Guru that time. Guru was responsible for keeping Harvey on the inside. Nevis doing a good job of getting in there with a nice block.
There'll be triple flankers to the right side. DePietro, however, gets the call on the quick hitter straight ahead, and he will be shy of the first down, it appears, by maybe a foot. He is taken down by Eric Garrett. Garrett, one of the linebackers. On the front line for Paulsboro, Wayne Hampton, Jason Lucci, John Weber, Brian Peck, Matt Davis. Ron Giorgiani is the tight end. Greg Harvey is the flanker. It is 3rd and less than a yard as Nevis goes to the wide formation, and they have a double wide in that direction, but Harvey tries to get it with the quarterback sneak. Depending on the spot, I believe he has it. Defensively for Florence, Jacob Yanksijan is the nose guard. Russell Maggio and Joe Shamiko are the tackles. Pepe Pichette and Roger Monar, the defensive ends. On the corners are Bob Evans and Alan Giroux. And the safeties, Jason Hann and Mike Connolly. So they're going to bring him in again and measure, and Bill Swanson being very careful today. This crew, of course, as you can see, lots of zebras today. In the playoffs, they have the paid officials from the state associations who work everything. It will be a first down. So each team now with a first down. 7:18 remaining to play in this opening period. Neither team yet to dent the scoreboard. Hardy is split one side, Harvey to the near side. Kevin Harvey gives it to DePietro. What a big hole, and Eric has another first down as he crosses into Florence territory and gets the ball down close to the Flash's 40-yard line. DePietro has just had a solid season, very, very quietly one of the top running backs in all of South Jersey, a fullback that only goes 155 pounds. He has already authored 7 touchdowns. Nevis now split to the wide side on the far side, and Greg Harvey to the near side. I formation behind Kevin Harvey. Bradshaw from the tailback position, again a big hole over the right guard position. And another first down for the Red Raiders as they now approach the Florence 26-yard line. And let me tell you, 2 guys on the right side just doing a super job blocking.
It all starts up front, and this is where they've been so strong. Peck on the right side, Davis on the right side, doing a nice job of opening up those holes. Really controlling the line of scrimmage. They get down on the nose guard, there's Peck, and you get DePietro who comes in on the linebacker and leads it through.
Uh-oh, look at this play by Harvey. Ball knocked up in the air, but he gets it back himself and finally driven out of bounds as he is close to the 25. He may get a yard or so out of it, maybe 2. There is athletic ability. Goes back to pass. The ball slips up and out of his hands. They're fearful of an interception. Instead, he catches it himself. Had to be a slip. He can't throw it up in the air and catch it himself, but and they ruled correctly that it was not a pass.
Hand going backwards, the ball slips out, and he takes a broken play and gains 3 yards out of it.
They'll go with the I formation. 2nd and 8. Harvey now wants to throw. Nevis has it. He's one-on-one on the right side. He gets down for another first down, this time at the 15-yard line. So any question about Harvey's ability to rifle it in this weather might have been answered on that one. That was a bullet.
But right now, the Florence defense is playing very much off the ball, both in the linebacker positions and the defensive cornerback positions, giving Nevis a lot of room out to the right side. The Paulsboro coaching staff realized that. That was the play they had called prior to this one. They come right back to it and are able to pick up the first down.
They'll remain with the I formation. They'll turn and pitch to Bradshaw. Good block from Peck on the corner. Giorgiani also had an excellent block on one of the linebackers, and Bradshaw is able to get inside the 10-yard line down to about the 7 or 8. What a block thrown by Peck, pulling from the right guard position, number 62.
You know, very strong up front. There you mentioned at 62 will be turning and getting to the corner. He's got the kick-out responsibilities, and Bradshaw cuts it up inside before being taken down by the defensive cornerback. And we said earlier, this is a team that can beat you in so many ways. We have Harvey, who's already indicated he wants to do everything he can to run the ball. DePietro's gained good yardage up the middle, and they've already been able to throw the ball effectively.
Slot to the near side now. They're, in fact, unbalanced in that direction. DePietro gets the football. He struggles to get any running room at all and is finally closed down and handled by Pepe Pichette, who's wearing number 89 today instead of 97, which has been taken over by Molnar on the other end. But Pichette makes a big stop, although there is some gain. It is now 3rd and 4. The ball is marked at the 9-yard line.
Of course, anytime they needed big yards, this Paulsboro team has turned in number 8. Time in and time out. 3rd down and big time, big for a big play. 4th down needing a big play. Got to keep an eye on them.
He slips, but he goes to Giorgiani, who wants to struggle to try and get into the end zone. He'll be denied that as a couple of the defensive backs make the stop. 44 leads the way. Eric Garrett, he has help from Mike Connolly, but it'll be another Red Raider first down, and this time on the 1-foot line. I don't know if you saw that, but his foot slips, and he's throwing with nothing but arm and still gets it in to the tight end beautifully.
That's always a difficult pass play to make. Anytime you're throwing over the middle, you want to make sure that you have your open receiver, put a lot on the ball. Excellent opportunity for a defense to step in there to get an interception.
Go from the wishbone formation. There he is, the gentleman had the big game, Ortiz Ruffin against Gloucester in the semifinal. Not a starter. Well, I think you got to call him a starter. They've got a couple of starters, both Bradshaw and Ruffin, the way he plays. So the first score of the day, at 3:51 remaining to play in the opening period, will go to Paulsboro on a 1-yard run by Ortiz Ruffin. Now Swanson, Bill Swanson says timeout, official's timeout.
Official time on the field.
Well, certainly was a very impressive drive as they took over with good field position, utilizing the pass, been able to run effectively up the middle and to the outside. And this is a team, an offense that's been able to do it in so many ways. And it's a team that doesn't normally beat themselves too often. Conditions being what they are today, the offense has to take a special concern, holding on to that football, make sure that you have it wrapped tightly. Mistakes are certainly going to be a big part of today's game. You mentioned Ruffin in the great game that he had against Gloucester, over 100 yards, coming in there as a backup tailback, and they certainly, with Ruffin and Bradshaw, they complement each other so well, and they're able to give each other very important breaks.
Jason Lucci, South Jersey leading extra point kicker, gets his 41st of the season. Take a 7-0, 3:51.
Here we're going to see the play over the middle in which Harvey drops back. He'll slip at the last second, but finds Giuliani across the middle, gets stopped just down short of the goal line. That was a big 3rd down and 3 to give him 1st down and goal down for the 1.
You know, they've had some outstanding blocking on this drive. Take a look now at this play.
Out of the full house backfield, Florence does a nice job of getting up there, making penetration, but you got to wrap on these backs. You cannot allow them to bump to the outside.
Both 18 and 23, Eric DePietro, number 18, and Tyrone Bradshaw, number 23, threw key blocks on that play at the end zone to allow Ruffin to go in. Glenn Howard in his 7th season here, pacing around nervously along with a huge staff of assistants, everybody associated with this team. They're looking for the first 11-0 season in Paulsboro history.
This is certainly not a good start for Florence defensively. We said that they could not afford to get into a shootout with this Paulsboro offense, and there's no indications there in that first drive that they're going to have what it takes to shut down this high-powered offense.
Lucci to kick off. They'll have it straight down the field. Alan Giroux will step aside and allow Connolly to take it again. Connolly looking for running room up the sideline. He's got it, and Florence fumbles the football, but they get the break as it goes out of bounds. There is a penalty flag, however, right at the point of the tackle. Connolly did an excellent job on the opening kickoff to get field position and does an even better job here.
We'll have to see what the call is and whether or not this will set Florence back or not. It looks like it will, 15 yards, but you're right, they had the wall set up on the left side. Did a real nice job of turning out the Paulsboro Red Raiders as they were coming down on the kickoff coverage team, opening up the hole for Conley. That's a tough break. They had good field position, as you mentioned, out there close to the 50-yard line. This will push them back another 15 yards as we will get the call.
Bill Swanson indicating clip.
Brings the ball back to Florence. 33-yard line.
There's a clip during the return, first down.
So they will mark the ball as we watch Connolly first up the sideline.
Yeah, nice wall as you see him turning out the Paulsboro team on the kickoff return. We'll see if we catch it in our picture. That's where it is, right there at the point of the tackle. It's really a shame because they had good return there.
Well, they featured Giroux the first time. They feature him again here as he tries the left side. They close quickly. DePietro getting there, number 18. Bradshaw joins him, and along with them is Eric Frisbee, number 1. There will be a gain of a couple. We'll call it 2nd and 8.
You know, I think one thing, if you're going to run a ball effectively against this Paulsboro defense, you've got to get to the hole very quickly. You cannot have the kind of running plays that are going to take a long time to develop because the linebackers and defensive cornerbacks get to that line of scrimmage once they read run so fast.
Giroux came into the ball game averaging 4.8 yards a carry, over 660 yards on 138 carries to this point in the season. Smith wanted to throw. Hampton gets bumped off. Now he comes across the middle, unable to hold on to the ball, is the tight end, Machowski. Machowski, 5'11", 215-pound tight end, primarily a blocker.
Well, Smith doing a real nice job looking off. He wanted Joe Masserini, the wide receiver, to the right-hand side, had one-on-one coverage. Greg Harvey, the cornerback, did a nice job of getting up and getting into his face and bumping him off and not allowing him to get downfield. Smith, scrambling out of the pocket, was able to find Machowski. He got the ball there. Machowski just not able to hold on.
So it is 3rd down. 8 yards to go for the first down. Straight ahead. Well, straight ahead and then backwards for Eric Garrett, number 44, getting an opportunity in the offensive backfield. It'll be another 4th down for Florence. And Joe Frappoli on the far side, a graduate of Florence High School in his 20th season, 116 wins, 70 losses, and 3 ties. No coat, no raincoat for him. Connolly's punt taken by Harvey. Harvey dances and prances and finally goes down after maybe a yard. But once again, Paulsboro finds themselves in excellent operating territory as they will have the ball at about their 38-yard line.
Well, Frappoli knew he coming into this ball game, he's going to have his work cut out for him, especially defensively. Paulsboro on top, 7-0 here with 2:19 left in the first quarter. It's a big series for him defensively. Do not want to get down 2 touchdowns. It would be very difficult for them to get themselves back in this ball game. They certainly don't want this Paulsboro team to create a real strong flow of momentum because once they get it going, they're awful tough to stop.
DePietro and Bradshaw in the backfield behind Harvey. Harvey wants to throw, though. He goes to his cousin up, and here, look at his catch. Kevin Harvey to Greg Harvey. Acrobatic catch off his hands, up in the air, and comes back down with it. Young man has 8 touchdowns this year. 5 of them have come as a result of pass receptions.
Evans, the cornerback on this one, will slip as Harvey makes his break. As you can see him on the ground, and he just stays with the ball and is able to bring it in.
Hardy now to the far side as Harvey goes in motion. They'll turn and pitch to Bradshaw. Gets a couple of good blocks out in front of him. Jason Lucci, number 58, the guard, pulled and gave the key block at the point of attack. They will be very close to another 1st down.
I just think this Florence team is showing too much respect for this Paulsboro speed. Their cornerbacks are playing very deep. Paulsboro has already run 3 pass patterns in which their wide receivers went down about 7 or 8 yards and just turned around because they were given so much room. Linebackers are about 6 and 7 yards off the ball. Their defensive ends are walking away. I know primarily just to make sure that they're able to contain Kevin Harvey as Paulsboro picks up another 1st down. But I think if you're going to stay in this ball game, you've got to get up on the line of scrimmage. You've got to challenge them offensively. gets 7, 8, 9 people up there, force them to have to put the ball in the air.
Well, and they're a good defensive team. They've only allowed 94 points, and 36 of them came in their defeat in the Admiral Farragut game, losing that one 36-8, their only loss of the season. Just over 5 points a game if you get rid of that ball game. Harvey checking off at the line of scrimmage.
Only one man guarding 2 wide receivers out to the wide side. Florence able to adjust.
Gets it up in the air, but it will be out of bounds as he's looking downfield for Bryven Nevis. But a sophomore quarterback to take the look, Steve, and find that they had the wrong coverage.
Well, they had 2 receivers to the right, only 1 cornerback guarding both of them. Once they went to check 70, if you had an opportunity to hear that. Fortunately, the Florence team adjusted defensively. The defensive end on that side walked out there into pass coverage. Right now, I think this defensively, Florence having a lot of trouble with the different looks that Paulsboro's throwing at them. They've had a tough time adjusting when Paulsboro goes into motion. There's a lot of confusion out there right now, and this is one of the strengths of this Paulsboro team is that they come at you in so many different ways with so many different looks. Very difficult team to prepare for defensively.
Alan Giroux goes to the sideline with an equipment problem, apparently the helmet. They'll give him moments to try and get that adjusted and get him back in without costing the team a timeout. They've been supporting them all year. They continue to do it here today. And when you get the band in the wet weather, you got to credit these young people. They do a super job all season and then come out here and make the noise and lead the team. Spirit-wise, kudos to that group. 2nd and 10. DePietro finds the big hole again and just slips and goes down as he gets to the 40-yard line of Florence and has another Paulsboro first down. Let me tell you, Peck and Davis, Maggio on the one side, Yancision at the nose guard, and Eric Garrett, the linebacker on that side, just are not handling those gentlemen. Weber, Peck, and Davis doing a super job blocking.
Well, there's 5 strong offensive players up front for Paulsboro. There's only 4 down linemen that are within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. The 2 linebackers are so deep. And what that does is it doesn't allow you to play some games up front. It means you have to play it straight up. And again, it's the respect that they have for this Paulsboro offense, but you like to have your linebackers up close to that line of scrimmage so they can stunt. You can do some things up front to make it tougher blocking for the offensive line.
Bradshaw finds another hole. There's a perfect example of it, Steve. If we'll see it again, I don't know. But Roger Molnar, number 97, who is the right defensive end, what they're doing, they're taking the defensive end on the side to which Harvey is split, and they're walking him off. And that leaves that opening there. See, the opening right there at the end.
There's the defensive end just to the lower part of your screen. Now, there was a stunt to the left-hand side.
There he is.
They got a lot of pressure, but by the time Molnar is able to get into the play, we're 5 or 6 yards downfield.
Well, that'll do it for the first quarter here at Paulsboro in this South Jersey Group 1 final. The home team on top, 7-0. We'll be back with second quarter football right after these messages. Second quarter football from Paulsboro. Mike Lindner along with Steve Crispin for Store Communication. 7-0, Paulsboro on top and driving. 2nd and 4 for the home team. Bradshaw wants the first down. He gets that and more. There is, however, a penalty flag. Let's see if we get either a face mask on the defense or an illegal block or hold on the offense. During that first quarter break, we enjoyed refreshments from Don and Bert's here in Paulsboro. Steve, I'm sure you enjoyed your hamburger that you chomped down so quickly.
It's always nice to be treated so well. We come here to Paulsboro High School. And of course, here a couple weeks ago with that Gloucester game. As we look at weather conditions out here today, I don't know if this is any worse than what Paulsboro had to play in a couple of weeks ago with the wind blowing as hard as it was, as cold as it was. No wind out here today, just a little bit of a drizzle. The referees will do the best they can to keep those balls dry.
Illegal use of hand, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So they will march the ball back to the 35-yard line where it'll be 2nd and 5. It strikes me that Florence is going to have to become much more aggressive instead of sitting back and waiting. It was a mistake that we felt Gloucester made against Paulsboro when the front 5 were just taking a controlled rush and gave Harvey, Sterling did it, I'm sorry, and allowed him all the time in the world. Look at this, Harvey to Harvey. And finally taken down by Jason Hand, number 9, but not until another first down, and this time inside the 15, call it the 14-yard line. You cannot give any quarterback, you certainly can't give Kevin Harvey 5 or 6 seconds to throw the ball. Look at this, no pressure at all.
No, doing a nice job up front, and then when this pass is caught, Jason Hand, the cornerback, look how far off the ball he is. That's about 15 yards downfield. He's not even in the picture yet. And this is what we've been saying all along. This Florence team is just giving Paulsboro too much room to operate. At this point, you've got to be able to come up and challenge people defensively. Again, checking off the line of scrimmage.
And it appears that the time to change the play will cost them 5, apparently delay of the game against the Red Raiders.
Difficult to tell whether or not they were actually changing a play or if they were just not set up in the right formation offensively.
Dead ball, delay the game, against the Reds, still first down.
It's one of the things that will happen when you use so many different offensive looks. Players will get themselves out of position every now and then. Basically, you're running the same plays. You just use a variety of different formations to cause some confusion defensively.
And Florence has decided to call a timeout with 11:03 remaining to play here in the first half. 7-0 Paulsboro on top. Interestingly, only the second time they've had the football. They are controlling it, controlling the clock, and now driving possibly for another score. They have been a scoring machine, averaging that 35.5 points a game coming in, Paulsboro has. And the closest game they had all year, Steve, was the semifinal game with Gloucester, the one in which they won by just 11 points, 32-21. And this team does it up front with a line that most people don't even think about except the real fans from Paulsboro. I think it is Hampton, Lucci, Weber, Peck, and Davis that make the real difference on this ball club.
And, of course, a lot of people in Paulsboro will want to try to compare this team with some of the great Paulsboro teams in the past. Of course, as we mentioned in our opening, this will be, if they are successful today with a victory, the only team in Paulsboro to finish up 11-0 with a Group 1 championship. And, of course, that makes them have to feel that they are certainly one of the best, if not the best team to have gone through here at Paulsboro High School. A lot of great athletes have played at Paulsboro.
Well, they got their Colonial Conference championship this year, first one since 1986, and looking now to get another, their 7th South Jersey championship in Group 1. Harvey to throw again, now to run. He gets close down around the 5-yard line, but the speed, he just explodes when he sees the opening. Everybody covered deep. That time the defensive back's just sticking to the receivers for Paulsboro, and Harvey, who can beat you either way, throwing or running, decides to run this time.
Oh, there was good coverage downfield. 2 receivers to the top of your screen are well covered. 1 down to the bottom, Mike Bell. Harvey sees the opening. With all that field to work, we were able to get and pick up the yardage for the first down, get him down close to that 5-yard line.
Garrett makes the stop. They'll turn. They'll go to Bradshaw. Bradshaw wants the end zone. Another penalty flag. Going to be a hold that will be thrown, I believe, perhaps on DePietro, the lead back. This will cost him the 15 yards.
DePietro trying to turn that end on the inside to give Bradshaw the room on the corner to run. You said that will set him back, but the way this offense has been able to eat up yardage, this Florence defense is going to have to come up big here.
Against the Red, 2nd down over.
So they will move the football back to, let's call it the 18-yard line, where it'll be 2nd and about 14 to go for the first down. Harvey will send Brian Nevis and Greg Harvey into the slot, and then Bradshaw will be a wing on that side. They'll turn and roll in that direction. They get the seal blocks. They got 3 seal blocks from each one of the split men. Nevis, Harvey, and Bradshaw each were able to turn their man in and just screen him, Steve, with no problem at all, allowing Kevin Harvey to get possibly the first down. Yes, he will have that. It will be first and goal from the 4-yard line. But all three of them, Steve, had angles. The defense gave them the angles, and they had no problem applying the block.
So we say coming into this ball game, we said it last week with Gloucester playing Paulsboro, you've got to contain Harvey. You've got to contain these backs and not allow them to get to the outside. Excellent coaching here on this Paulsboro coaching staff as they stress it and they drill it and they work these players to execute those type of blocks to free up these fine backs.
Harvey keeps the football.
Harvey on the carry.
And with the speed, gets into the end zone. That'll be a 4-yard touchdown run with 9:35 remaining to play here in the half, putting the home team up 13-0.
Such an unselfish ball club. Teams that work together so well. Not a big opening there. You know, Harvey has the speed, but give some credit to Artis Ruffin, the back on that side, who was able to get out in front of Harvey and actually shield off the defender, giving Harvey just enough room to get himself in the end zone.
Lucci looking for point number 42. Has the distance and has the location, and he's good again. And then there's a penalty flag down. There's a unsportsmanlike, I believe, that will go against Florence.
Here's the replay of Harvey's run to get him down for the first down inside the 5-yard line. It's the blocks that you mentioned at the top of the screen. DePietro gets out in front. Bradshaw gets out in front. Harvey is out in front.
Nevis.
4 excellent blocks. Nevis, number 9, getting downfield. That's an excellent job all the way around. We're going to get the call here, as you mentioned, a personal foul against Florence, and that'll move the ball 15 yards up. And things continue to go bad for the Flashes here in the first half.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. The 1-point conversion will stand. Penalty will go on the kickoff.
Harvey on the rollout to the right-hand side. Bradshaw, DePietro, 2 good blocks at the point of attack. Now watch Ruffin out in front. He gets his shoulder on the inside and shields off Conley, who is responsible for coming up and containing the running back from not getting to the outside. Excellent job all the way around. And those are 2 good examples of the kind of play of this Paulsboro offense that's made them so tough on offense. The unselfishness of all players to contribute in such a way for the success of this offense. The front line up front, and you always talk about the offensive line and the lack of credit that they get sometimes for the fine job that they do, but the backs and how well they block for each other. It's just extraordinary.
Well, Lucci will have an opportunity to tee it up right at the the 45-yard line, but in Florence territory as a result of that penalty.
Always a good opportunity for an onside kick. You know, it goes into the end zone. You're going to bring it out to the 20.
Well, they kick it deep. Let's say handled and downed in the end zone by Mike Connolly. 14-0, 9:35 remaining to play here in the opening half. Paulsboro on top. We'll be back. They'll turn and try to give it to Giroux, who is not going to be able to get the football. In fact, it's fumbled and covered by the quarterback, Marcus Smith. So Giroux looked good on the opening series. Now Smith is down. They cannot afford to lose him. The juniors had a super season. Scored a couple, threw 7 touchdown passes, and converted 12 extra points. He's an important part of that offense. The Giroux and Taylor have gotten a lot of the credit. It appears that Smith is going to have to leave the ballgame for at least one play, and that will bring in as quarterback Mike Connolly, number 11. Penalty flag as they have all kinds of problems. We'll wait and let them sort this one out. Things not going well for Florence offensively, not going well for Florence defensively.
Well, they weren't in the right formation. Conley coming out and rushing things did not allow his defensive or his offensive tight end the opportunity to set himself up.
Illegal procedure against the white.
You know, one person we have not seen, Mike, is Darnell Taylor,
right.
number 5, the back. It's Garrett in there right now at the fullback spot. We mentioned Taylor had rushed for over 500 yards, and for some reason he's not out there, and that's got to be a big blow to this team.
And now they put Brian Woolston, number 20, in at the tailback position. Fumble! It's going to be covered by Connolly, but way down near the end zone. So The loss of Smith, as we indicated, you don't want to lose ever anyone, but most notably your quarterback. This is going to bring up a third in forever. Let's see, 10, 17, about 27 yards, 29 yards.
And they're having a lot of trouble right now. Connolly coming in the fullback spot. Smith has come back into the ball game. But this Florence offense moving backwards right now. Connolly's in at quarterback. Takes the snap, not able to contain it. It gets kicked out of there. They're very fortunate he's able to get back on top of the ball.
That was Mike Bell that did that. Now we're going to have the quick kick from Connolly. Gets it upfield. No safety man back for Paulsboro. Good decision by Frappoli, as the ball will roll dead at the Florence 38-yard line. Well, Mike Bell did the job defensively on that series. And interestingly, Steve, in the Courier Post All-South Jersey team that will be announced, well, will have been announced this morning. You're watching this game on a Tuesday evening if you're watching it out of store in Gloucester County. Mike Bell, the only underclassman on the first team defensive unit, All-South Jersey.
No, he certainly belongs there. He's a good one. He's done a great job for this team, both offensively and defensively, but it's mostly his defense and part of that front five of this team, and a great job that they have done.
And number 8, Kevin Harvey, is the only underclassman on the offense of the first team All-South Jersey. He is the number 1 quarterback, according to the experts in South Jersey. They get a yard on that one. It'll be 2nd and 9.
He's certainly got to be one of the most versatile quarterbacks that have come along in a long time. Just a great runner, has a super arm, good core of receivers, and he really does a fine job of running this offensive attack. And Glenn Howard has done a nice job of molding an offense around his abilities and certainly the abilities of the other players on his team.
Now they'll move Giorgiani over to a tight end on the right side and drop Harvey into the backfield. DePietro, however, gets the hole and gets way downfield. This young guy at 155 pounds is just tough as nails, Steve, and he has an instinct to find the hole and then accelerate when he sees it.
Well, as I said, there is so much confusion from Florence right now. Paulsboro did what they've done all year long. They moved their tight end from one side to the other. The cornerback on that side came up and did not even guard the receiver. They have all these guys on the inside, and they open up a gaping hole for DePietro to get in there and able to pick up the first. See if they do the same thing and try to get Florence to make the same adjustment.
They remain in the I formation. Now Giorgiani comes over again.
Watch the fly pattern on the right-hand side.
Harvey was looking for it, did not find it, and he will get back close to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. So it'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, that time Florence doing something a little bit differently. Paulsboro, the play prior to that one, picked up the weakness in that defense. But this time Florence reacting correctly. The play wasn't there, so Harvey does what he does so well and tries to make something out of nothing.
They will take Hardy and Greg Harvey into the slot. They'll open the backs behind Kevin Harvey. He'll drop straight back, again with plenty of time. Looks down the middle and forces this one. Oh, there's going to be a penalty flag. Really not a very good call if they call interference, in my mind. This thing's not going well for Florence at all, Steve, and this will just be, well, the officials are there. That's what we're supposed to say, and we're up here, right? An uncatchable ball, forced in. Everybody looked like they'd almost stopped to me. How about you?
And you have two receivers who are right there next to each other who almost bump into themselves. And I don't know how incidental contact works at the high school level, but certainly I agree. It's got to be a ball that's certainly catchable, and the defense has got to gain some sort of advantage out of the contact, and there was none there whatsoever. Another tough break for the Florence team. Paulsboro will get their first down. They'll pick up some yardage.
Interference against the white, automatic first down.
Especially as a game as important as this one, it's got to be a situation when clearly that ball was catchable and the defense gaining an advantage by making the contact.
5:37 remaining to play in the opening half. Paulsboro looking to go up by 3 scores. Nevis and Harvey slotted to the left side. Giorgiani will be a tight end on that side. They come with the linebackers, but they pitch to Bradshaw, and the first time we've seen real aggressiveness shown by Florence, and it pays off as Jacob Yank Cision Number 67 makes the stop, and bringing those linebackers, I thought they were going to get hurt, Steve, with Paulsboro going wide, but it allowed everybody else to slide to the outside.
Well, I think you got to challenge this team on the inside. You got to make sure your defensive ends get across the field and force the action back up on the inside. You're certainly right. If your defensive ends don't do the job and these running backs get to the corner, you're not going to be able to stop them. But I think they got to be a little bit more active on the inside. Their linebackers have got to come up and force the action much more than they have done for the most part of this game so far.
The slot is to the near side. They'll come in that direction. Give it to DePietro. Gets rid of a couple of tacklers and gets the ball down around the 5-yard line. He will be shy of the first down by a couple. Pepe Pichette gets credited with the tackle. He had assistance. Giroux was there. Garrett was there.
Now, I've never seen a runner, 5'11", 155 pounds, that is so effective as Eric DePietro. It's just something about him. He seems to be so tough to bring down. I mean, you find so many of these tacklers that just bounce off, they slide off, he keeps his feet, he runs hard. Has done a great job, as you mentioned earlier, throughout the course of the season.
Paulsboro takes a timeout with 4:27 left to play here in the first half. They're up 14-0. We'll be back with more football after these words. Well, Glenn Howard has talked it over with his club. Let's see what play they decided on. Harvey sprints, turns, again goes to the corner, and again uses the speed to get in. So it will be a 5-yard touchdown run, his second of the day for Kevin Harvey, and things looking very, very tough for Florence and very, very good for Paulsboro.
Well, they certainly make it look very easy, and Harvey all season long has made it easy. Greg Harvey getting the block downfield, just shading the defensive cornerback, allowing his cousin Kevin Harvey to get himself in the end zone. As you mentioned, things are looking awful bad right now for the Flashes. This Paulsboro offense has just exploded.
Lucci again finds the middle of the goal post, and it is now 21-0, the home team on top.
With 4:18 to play.
Well, Paulsboro beat Florence in the semis in 1988, 21-7, and things looking like they're going in that direction again here.
Well, Florence right now is having a very difficult time dealing with the Paulsboro speed. They certainly had a game plan coming into this game. It looked like they were going to try to back off a little bit from that line of scrimmage to allow them to have the opportunity to react. But this offensive front line has just done an outstanding job in opening up the holes. And certainly Joe Rapoli and his staff at halftime are going to have to sit down and discuss some ways in which they can slow down this attack.
They are the last, non-Gloucester County team to win Group 1. They won it in 1985, Florence, that is. 7 in a row now by Gloucester County, 4 by Woodbury, 1 by Glassboro, and 2 by Paulsboro. So South Jersey Group 1 has belonged to Gloucester County. Giroux will be deep for Lucci's kick. It, however, will not go to him. Conley will get it one more time. And again, Conley wants the sideline. He will not get as much this time, as he will be tackled about the 28, 29-yard line. We'll wait and see where they spot it. The important question now, Steve, is whether or not Marcus Smith will be back in there at quarterback.
Well, he got in there in that last series right toward the end, so hopefully he will return. I don't see him on the field. There he is right now. Also, we have seen Darnell Taylor in the ballgame. He was there on the kickoff return. He was on the sideline earlier, so for some reason he did not start. And that's a very important part of this offensive attack. They have 2 fine running backs, and so far in this ball game, Paulsboro defensively has been able to key a lot more on Giroux.
It's going to be Conley again, and one more time he has trouble getting the snap from his center, Adam Zortorski. There is, however, an illegal procedure that goes against Florence, so the play was all for naught in any event. It's a dead ball situation.
Oh, you're right, Smith's still not in the ball
foul,
game.
Illegal procedure against the white, first down.
So it'll be 1st and 15 when they move the chains with 3:52 as they start or wind the clock and start it.
You know, this really has an effect on this Florence offense. Certainly psychologically, not having your starting quarterback in there, but you're now taking one of your best receivers, Connolly, putting them at quarterback. And now you don't have the ability to pass the ball, and he continues to have
Loses it
trouble.
again.
Covered by
Paulsboro gets it. Well, they've got plenty of time. 3:33 on the clock. I'm not sure exactly who got it.
33 to play in the second quarter.
Was it Hampton?
Recovered by number 56,
Yes, Wayne Hampton is credited with the fumble recovery. They will have the football now just inside the Florence 25-yard line and an opportunity to put another nail in it. A score here will make halftime dismal for Joe Frapoli and his troops. Now another penalty flag. Bill Swanson indicates dead ball, illegal procedure against the Raiders.
Little movement on the offensive front line just prior to the snap of the ball.
So it'll be 1st and 15 from the 29-yard
Dead
line.
ball foul. Procedure red.
Nice crowd assembled here today. They've got a ton of umbrellas out, as you have been able to see throughout it, with the rain continuing throughout the ball game. Every seat taken and the fans lining the field all the way around. Harvey will turn. Try to get back to the inside. Won't have that happen as he is taken down.
Aaron Bordas.
Bordas makes the tackle. You can see the way they've lined the field here. This is, 4 games in a row. The Sterling game, the Gloucester semifinal game, the Thanksgiving Day football game with West Deptford, in which they nailed down their Colonial Conference championship, and now this, the final of South Jersey. If the money were going into the Paulsboro coffers, they'd be very happy. Of course, playoff money goes to the state. Up in the air, and this first big day thing for Florence today, an interception by Jason Hand, the 5'8", 150-pound senior, comes up with the football to blunt this drive, then put the Flashes with the football with 2:20 remaining to play at their own 15-yard line.
Oh, you're right. The first thing to go good for this Florence defense today, Kevin Harvey was coming off the field, indicating that it was his fault, trying to force things in there just a little bit too much, not getting the correct read, overthrowing his receiver.
So we'll see who's at quarterback again. This time we go with number 12. They're going to try Cesar Parida, a sophomore. Cesar Parida. Unbalanced line, and they're going to go in that direction with Taylor. Taylor twists and turns for maybe 4 or 5, depending on where they put it. So they're at their third quarterback, which is not a good sign for any football team at any level.
Well, I think they've made the decision that offensively they need to get back to their balanced attack, and Conley's a very important part of that as one of their key wide receivers.
On the far side, if we'll be able to get a shot at a certain point, number 8, Marcus Smith, the starting quarterback, is on crutches. Parida with trouble, and he can't get back to make the handoff. There's a fumble. It will be picked up by Brian Peck, but you can't do that when you're down on the knees, and Paulsboro will have another opportunity. And not having Smith in there is perhaps the final thing that's going to spell trouble. There you see Marcus Smith. This guy has accounted for so much for this club all year long, and the only positive thing for him right now, maybe, Steve, is the fact that he's a junior, and this won't be his final game.
It won't be his final game, but it was certainly a great opportunity for this team coming into this game, possibly to be able to pull the upset. Paulsboro was a heavy favorite, but you never know what can happen, but things are certainly looking very bad for this Florence team right now.
Paulsboro knows what this touchdown would mean, puts it in the end zone, nearly caught after the good defensive play made by Mike Connolly, but then Bradshaw nearly got the football off of Connolly's hands. So 56 seconds left to play, 2nd and 10.
Here we're going to get to see the replay, getting a lot of pressure up on the inside. Flash is doing a good job of getting pressure on Harvey, but he really drills that ball in there so hard that the defensive back, well, Conley in that case, who is a wide receiver, is not able to hang on as Bradshaw comes diving in there, trying to come down with that reception.
Backs are open, they're split. Usually that means Harvey straight back to pass, but there's going to be a penalty as one of the linemen, it was either Lucci or Hampton, on the left side raised their hand after they were set, and that will cause the Raiders, cost them 5 yards.
We have a dead ball foul, illegal procedure against the red. Second down.
Mr. Swanson has been very, very active today. A lot of yellow flags. Well, they'll stay with that split back situation in the backfield. As we say, that usually indicates a drop back pass. Nevis is split to the far side. That's who he wants. Throwing to him in the corner, but Nevis cannot come under it, and Harvey may have thrown it a step too soon, and therefore a step too long. So it'll be 3rd and 15 with 51 seconds.
Well, that was another situation. Harvey comes up to the line. He sees the cornerback coming up closer and closer, gives a little bit of a hand signal out to Nevis, telling him to fly to the corner. Great read, just overthrowing him just a bit. But it makes it very difficult defensively. When you can have a quarterback and an offense that can go up there and change things at the line of scrimmage so effectively.
Harvey with pressure, probably a screen, and it is. Bradshaw gets it, but he's not gone anywhere as Joe Shimiko reads it perfectly and slides out defensively to make the stop. Now we've got problems back here between DePietro and the big defensive end, Pepe Pachette. But that apparently is quieted down. No one saw it and added up to nothing. So it'll be 4th and 21, and as the clock continues to run, we're under 20 seconds to play here in the first half. Mike Bell now in the ball game at a tight end position. And we have a triple flanker right as Giorgiani finally gets off the field, but with 5 seconds on the clock, Harvey sees it and says, I want one more chance, so we're going to call timeout and talk this one over. There was a little confusion as Ron Giorgiani did not see Mike Bell come in at tight end, number 7, and therefore was late getting off the field. Harvey had to wait for him. So coming here at 88, losing in the semis to Paulsboro and then losing to Woodbury in 1991 in the semis in overtime, Gloucester County has not been a pleasant destination for Florence in Group 1 playoffs. And so far here today in the rain, down 21-0, they cannot be pleased at all with the trip here.
And there's no indications it's going to get any better. There you see the Florence sideline out on the field, the coaching staff talking with their defense. It's a big play for them. If there's any hope that they have, they've got to come up here big on this 4th down and 21. They cannot afford another score. Certainly going into halftime, they're going to have their work cut out for them with possible defense adjustments that they can make. And without Smith at quarterback in the ball game any longer, if he is indeed out for the rest of the game, they're certainly going to have to make a lot of adjustments offensively and try to determine what can they do to move the ball effectively.
4th and 21 for a first down, 4th and 25 for the touchdown. Triple flanker left this time. DePietro remains in the backfield to block. Harvey wants to throw, puts it up in the air. He's got a man in the end zone. Hardy unable to catch it, however. Isaac Hardy can't get it, but there is a penalty flag. And remember, although there's no time on the clock, if it's a defensive penalty, the half will not end. They will get one untimed play.
Now we have the Florence teams clapping, so they hopefully it's going to go in their
offensive interference, I bet. An illegal pick. That'll be the half. That'll do it. 21-0. Paulsboro on top. South Jersey Group 1 championship game. We'll be back with second half football right after these messages. Well, he's here today, and it's been an early gift-giving session from Paulsboro to their fans for supporting them so long. It is 21-0, the home team on top as we prepare to begin the second half. Mike Lindner along with Steve Crispin for Stewart Communication, welcoming everybody in all our sister systems joining us today for this telecast. Kicking off will be Mike Connolly for Florence, and standing deep will be Artis Ruffin and Harvey, but Bell up front fumbles the football, and then it is picked up finally and handled by Irving, who covers it well for the Red Raiders and puts Paulsboro
30-yard line.
in control at their own 31-yard line. Scoring opened with 3:51 remaining to play in the first period. Artis Ruffin, following a long Paulsboro drive, completed that drive with a 1-yard touchdown run. Lucci's kick was good for 7-0, and then a 4-yard Kevin Harvey run with 9:35 remaining to play in the second. Another Lucci kick, and then finally with 4:18 left in the half, a 5-yard Kevin Harvey run. Again, Lucci converts successfully. It's 21-0. DePietro this time tries left guard and maybe gets a yard or two, where Aaron Bordas from the linebacking position comes in to make the stop. So to 2nd and 9, DePietro's had great success behind Peck and Davis on the right side. First time he's really tried to go behind Lucci and Hampton.
Well, we'll have to see what kind of adjustments Joe Frapoli and his staff have made defensively. I think they really have to challenge their players to become much more aggressive and really come out this Paulsboro team.
Again, they have one defender covering the two flankers. Harvey saw it, but he cannot get it off as he is taken to the ground by Russ Maggio, number 96, making his first stop of the day. But I don't understand. This time, Steve, in the first half, you remember they were walking the defensive ends off on the side of the flanker. They did not do it on the first two plays here. But as a result, there's one defender covering two flankers.
And certainly the Paulsboro coaching staff stalled that. Kevin Harvey saw it coming up to the line. There was a check off. They were looking to come in that direction. But the one thing Florence has been successful in doing, especially in that second quarter, and certainly early here, is getting a lot of pressure on Harvey. That time, fortunately for them, not able to find the receiver. DePietro slipping and falling out here on the flat. So defensively, Florence comes up big here early in the second half. They need to get something going. They've got to get this momentum going and back in their direction. Defensively, this is a good start. Now offensively, when they take control of the ball, we'll have to see what adjustments they've made, who's going to come in at quarterback, and whether or not they can get that ball moving.
Lucci, to punt for the first time this afternoon for Paulsboro, will stand at his own 15-yard line. Giroux will be the lone safety man for Florence. Lucci gets it away. Ball will just roll around and finally be downed by Paulsboro's Ron Giorgiani at the Florence 49-yard line.
Well, right now, this Florence Flashes team, they know they have nothing to lose. Let's come out here and let's give it everything that we can for 2 quarters of football. Let's come after them. Let's be aggressive. They're certainly going to have to now turn around and execute offensively. That front line for the Florence team is going to have to fire off the ball, create some openings. They're back with their starting backfield of Taylor and Giroux.
Connolly, however, will be the quarterback for the injured Marcus Smith, who remains on the sideline on crutches. They will split Jason Hand, who's now in the game. They're going to turn and pitch to Taylor. Taylor is going nowhere, as once again Brian Peck is able to handle the slot that's left by the two pulling guards. He reads it immediately and slants in that direction to make the tackle. They read so well, Steve.
You're right, and Peck is one of the best. Only a junior, 195 pounds, 5'11", sees the pulling guards, follows the guards, knowing that the guards are going to take him to the hole. So quick off the ball and able to take down Taylor on that play for the loss. He's done a great job in getting that penetration on the inside.
Up now the left end, apparently, or left tackle, lifted that hand to readjust his stance before the ball snapped. Well, they're calling it against Paulsboro.
I think, look, we had a nice view right down the line. Someone was lined up in the neutral zone.
Against the red.
Okay.
And that happened prior to the movement on that left-hand side. So a little bit of a break for Florence. We have to mention, things really went south for Florence there in the second quarter. Not only were they struggling offensively, not able to control. There you can see the right looked like Bell lined up in that neutral zone prior to the movement. But not only were they not able to move the ball effectively offensively, turnovers down deep in their own territory certainly helped Paulsboro.
2nd and 9. Connolly will toss to Taylor. Taylor is racked at the point of attack. He'll get a yard or two, but he'll pay for that, as Artis Ruffin came with around a 10-yard head start and just put that shoulder right into Taylor.
We said this is one of the reasons that Paulsboro is so tough to run against. When you have plays that take a while to develop, the pitch out to the left-hand side was showing run all the way. The cornerbacks, Ruffin and Harvey, they come to the ball so quickly. Ruffin coming up from that cornerback spot, able to take Taylor down before he was able to get that hit of steam going and pick up good yardage, so it will bring up a 3rd down and long.
3rd and 7 with 8:11 remaining to play in the 3rd period. Connolly wants to look downfield and finds his man, this time the tight end, Matt Machowski. Machowski makes the catch to give Florence only their 2nd first down of the day. They got one on their opening drive and have been denied since then. Machowski, a senior, 215 pounds, 5'11", struggled but caught it.
Coming all the way across the field, Connolly doing a nice job of biding time on the rollout. Finds Machowski, who sits right down in the middle of that zone coverage and holds on for the 1st.
And now Florence, with some confusion, decides to call a timeout as Coach Frapoli wants to talk to Connolly, make sure everybody knows exactly what's happening. 7:43 remaining to play here in the 3rd period, 21-0. Paulsboro on top. We'll be back with more game action right after these messages. Mike Lindner with Steve Crispin for Story Communications. 7:43 remaining to play in the 3rd. Taylor gets the football again, and Mike Bell, the All-South Jersey first-teamer, is there to make the stop. Bell, really a tough guy, 6'3", 208, and does not look it. He is lean and mean, fits every cliche you can put together for a defensive lineman.
When you got defensive linemen of Bell, Peck, and Davis who do such a great job across that front, you're going to have a tough time running the football. I think this Florence team will find themselves a little bit more effectively in moving the football on the ground with the quick hitters. We have not seen Giroux like we saw him in that 1st quarter where they turned and gave him to the ball from that fullback spot real fast.
Connolly to throw. Needs a block from Taylor. Gets that one, but is driven out of bounds by DePietro, who fought off the block of Taylor. It appears that Connolly should have cut to the inside and chose to go to the sideline instead. And we'll get back near the original line of scrimmage.
Well, we talked about the fact with Marcus Smith, their starting quarterback going down, Connolly going to the quarterback spot. Again, you're taking one of your starting wide receivers in Connolly, putting him in a quarterback. He was 2nd leading on the team with 18 receptions. Masserini is the leading receiver. He has not caught a pass yet, number 39, with 19 receptions.
It is now 3rd and 7. Connolly wants to throw, chased by Bell. Bell is blocked, but then DePietro takes him to the ground, and a penalty flag was thrown. I believe John Gola, number 77, may be called for a hold on Bell. Oh, it's a clip, they're going to call it.
Well, it was on Bell. Bell again with excellent penetration on the inside. And it all starts right there. Offensively, you've got to neutralize those front 3. And that's what makes this defense so tough. When you have 3 people that can make that kind of penetration, you free up your linebackers, Bradshaw and Miller, the ends, DePietro and Hampton, coming across, containing on the inside.
We'll listen to the call.
Flip against the white, 3rd down.
So that will move them back as they will now get pushed into their own territory. They will mark the football at the 48-yard line.
Bring up a
3rd and 28 with for Florence. Connolly had a chance to talk to Coach Frapoli on the sideline. Come back with the play. The draw to Taylor, who wants the outside. Shows us the best speed of the day from a Florence runner, and he is made to pay for it by Greg Harvey, who flips Darnell Taylor, but not before Taylor gets the ball to the Paulsboro 40-yard line. Good speed.
Well, Harvey coming up from that cornerback spot, he reads pass and gets the drop back, and then it's on the draw play. And we're going to see tear up the middle. And this is where you need good downfield blocking, and this is something that Florence did not do well here. There's a man on Harvey, but is not able to shield him off. It looked like it was Jason Hand from that wide receiver position. Fake punt right now.
Connolly throws the ball up in the air.
Connolly's pass defended, broken up by
It is broken up and nearly picked off by Ruffin. And it will be Paulsboro football with 6 minutes remaining to play here in the third period.
Well, the Florence coaching staff, feeling it doesn't have anything to lose, is going to do everything that they can to try to move this football, going with the fake punt there. 4th and long. Not successful, and Paulsboro will take over possession. Just under 6 minutes here left in the third.
Well, let's see what Harvey does now as he is unbalanced to the near side. Now he balances it by moving Giorgiani. Again, no adjustment from Florence. They'll give it to DePietro straight ahead. Aaron Bordis reads it well, the sophomore linebacker, and it'll be a gain of about a yard on the play, 2nd and 9.
Well, certainly the Florence team is doing some things different defensively. The first series, the first time they've been able to really stop Paulsboro. They did stop them there at the end of the first half from scoring after Paulsboro took over possession with just a few minutes left in the half. Now they want to do everything they can, maybe force a turnover, possibly get this defense to come up with a big play. They got to be very careful. They're still giving a lot of room on the corners.
As you can see, the rain has pretty much halted, but the conditions, as evidenced here on the sideline with the cheerleaders, is still ugly. The conditions that is, not the cheerleaders. They credited DePietro with 3. It's 2nd and 7. Harvey, the quick turn, and let's see if it's picked off. Gets back into the hands, but it's going to be ruled incomplete in any event, and there is a penalty flag down. They will say that Greg Harvey did not catch it off of the defense of Rodney Molnar. What are they, roughing, I believe, against Florence.
Yeah, some sort of personal foul in the backfield. Again, with the room that they're getting, Paulsboro coming to the line of scrimmage, they're checking off. Harvey goes down about 8 yards and turns on the hook pass. And cousin Kevin Harvey drills it in there, and it looked like there was some action after the play. And there's where the personal foul was called.
And Big Matt Davis was stunned. He'll come out for at least one play. You'll see him coming off under his own power here. What a season that young guy has had. He's a big one, 275 pounds. Listen to the call.
Personal foul, number 30 of the white. First down.
Oh, telling us who did it, huh?
Been watching too many of those NFL football games, I think. Something normally not done at the high school level, but
Alan Giroux, the culprit. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the Florence 42-yard line. Now there's movement on the right side of the Paulsboro line. Davis's replacement. Who's that? Kevin Chu?
Dead ball foul, procedure against the red.
What did he say? Tell them my number?
well, Peck asked him for a number. Wanted to know who it was. I think you're right. It was someone moving on that right-hand side of the line just a little bit too quickly. This Paulsboro offense does such an outstanding job of maintaining possession of the football. They use up a lot of time. They're the kind of team that's capable of putting together a sustained drive. They don't have a lot of turnovers.
On the counter play, DePietro. Not going to get much. He may get a 1 or 2 out of it.
Well, so far here in the second half, defensively, Florence much more aggressive on the inside. Their front three doing a much better job of getting across that line of scrimmage.
As a result, Bordis just credited with his 3rd tackle here in this half and did not get credit for an unassisted in the first half. 2nd and 11. DePietro off right tackle. That hole's been there all day for Eric, and he will get down around the Florence 35-yard line and be about 3 yards shy of the first.
Well, Davis is back in the ball game, and when you need yards, you go behind Davis. Peck, of course, Weber on the inside, also at the center position, doing a nice job. They block down so well, and you get your tight end to kick out the defensive end, and things open up there for DePietro. Not a flashy runner, but it's just so effective in terms of getting the job done and picking up that yardage, holding on to that football.
Unbalanced to the near side. They'll turn and have Harvey just keep it in that direction. Driven out of bounds by Connolly. And interestingly, with that speed, Bradshaw's block is to the outside, but Harvey, with the great speed, goes to the outside of the block and gets away with it.
And he can get away with a lot of those things when you have the kind of speed that you mentioned that Kevin Harvey has. He knew what he needed for the first down. He was able to pick up the yardage necessary. But again, some of the things we're seeing differently. Florence stunning on the inside, putting a lot of pressure. Bradshaw came very, very close of taking Harvey down in the backfield. And when you're down 21-0, things aren't going well defensively. You can take some chances. Let's go after them. If we're going to go down in this ball game, let's go out there and give it our best shot.
Now from the just outside the 30-yard line, it's 1st and 10 as Georgiani shifts. The hole is there again for DePietro. They are not adjusting at all, Steve, when they move the tight end. There is no adjustment from the line or the linebackers, and it's leaving that hole open, and Howard is reading it and taking absolute advantage of it.
Well, there's no adjustment in the front line that we've seen. We're also not seeing any adjustment in the secondary. I can hear from this side the Florence coaching staff hollering, telling Mike Conley, who's the safety, he did not adjust over to the tight end side. Now you wonder if the Paulsboro staff from up top will see that. The tight end was wide open on some kind of pass, maybe up the middle. But as we said, all throughout this ball game, with all the different formations that Paulsboro uses, it makes adjustments on the defense very difficult, especially at the high school level. When you don't have the time to prepare, many of these players having to go both ways, offensively and defensively, although Florence, only being a Group 1 school, has about as few players going both ways as any team I've seen. Only 3 players playing both offense and defense in the starting.
Look at the hole for Bradshaw. Gets the first down and plenty more. Bradshaw will get it down inside the 15 to about the 13 and appears hopefully simply stunned.
Well, somebody from that Paulsboro offensive line came in there and leveled a block right at the end of that play. I don't know if it was Davis or Hampton. Pitch out to the right-hand side. Look how they get out. Peck doing a nice job on the seal. There you see Davis getting himself downfield, and it's Bradshaw fighting for the extra yardage, and it's Hampton that comes in there right at the end and levels the defensive safety there for Florence. But Bradshaw picking up the yardage necessary for the first on the pitch play. You have DePietro on the inside, Bradshaw on the outside. Of course, Harvey is the fine runner and passer that he is. Looks like it is Bradshaw that's down at this time.
Well, it gives us an opportunity, Steve, to give a lot of credit to our technical crew here today for Channel 5. Seldom we have the opportunity to do football games in the rain and the kind of weather conditions we have here, but this one being so important, the crew say we're going out there, and they have done a superb job as they always do, and hope everybody's enjoying it, and remember the people who put it together for you. Happy also to have the sister groups that are joining us from the Storer system, and hope you're enjoying the coverage out of Storer Communication in Woodbury. As Bradshaw is up and will come off, and you love to see that. So the situation will be 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line for the Red Raiders. Florence, it started this half with one good offensive rush. We're really unable to get it into the inside of the red zone too deep. And now Paulsboro will attempt to open it to a 4-score lead. Harvey is not going to get anything. In fact, will lose a yard as he is hit by Maggio again.
Yeah, Maggio doing a nice job of penetration. This is something we did not see in the first half. A referee timeout right now as Greg Harvey on the side getting his helmet adjusted. You mentioned Maggio there out of his defensive tackle position, getting the penetration. Harvey almost like on a quarterback draw, one step, was looking to get up on the inside, but Maggio able to take him down for no gain.
2nd and 10. Harvey with pressure puts it into the end zone. It's there for Giroux has it. And Giroux will get it back out to about the 10-yard line. second interception, and Harvey is still down. Kevin Harvey, maybe it's just his pride that's injured apparently, as he is now up and will come off with no problem unless he remains for defense. But Giroux picking up the second interception of the day for Florence.
But it's the pressure up on the inside that makes the difference. They're starting to bring the linebackers a little bit more often. Look at the top of your screen, 3 players who are going to get in there.
Garrett makes the hit.
All right, Garrett is in there, makes the contact. You mentioned Giroux is there waiting for the ball. Tough to tell who Kevin Harvey was looking for, and I think that's why he's a little upset with himself, knowing that he maybe didn't have the receiver there to throw to. You never want to put the ball up for grabs.
Taylor cuts back inside the outside pressure and gets the ball close to a 9-yard gain near the 20-yard line. I don't know where Taylor was in the beginning of the game and exactly why he didn't get the start, but it's obvious that they needed the speed of Taylor in order to then open up the power runs of Giroux.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking the same thing as we've watched him throughout the course of the second quarter and here into the third. He makes a difference in this ball club. They need that balance between Giroux and Taylor. Taylor very effective on the pitch outs, Giroux very effective from tackle to tackle.
Well, Bell says you're not going anywhere this time. You will not get the first down. And he will throw Taylor to the ground near the 16-yard line. Final 30 seconds ticking down here in the third period. It will be 3rd and 5 from the 16. Bell on the right side, just so strong and able to make the reads. He, along with Peck, anchor that right side of the defensive line, and then DePietro benefits from their surge and makes so many tackles as a result. Now they'll give it to Giroux, who will get it up close to the 20, but they will be shy of the first down. It'll give them some time to think about it, however, as time expires here in the third period. We'll be back with fourth quarter action, 21-0, Paulsboro on top. Let's pause for these words. Connolly to punt on 4th and 5. He'll drive the ball downfield close to midfield. It's going to roll dead at the 47-yard line. Paulsboro will have the ball as a penalty flag now goes, as there's some contact on the far side between Connolly and 3 or 4 of the Red Raiders.
And we certainly hope things don't get out of control here. It's been a good ball game. Certainly there's a lot of frustration on the Florence sideline. Not able to get things going offensively. The loss of their quarterback certainly has had an impact. Marcus Smith going down with a foot injury, forcing Connolly to go at quarterback. Smith was a big loss for him, and it really took away from them, especially at key times in that second period. There was some turnovers because of his absence that really made the difference. Paulsboro was able to take over in a position to score.
Yeah, the third touchdown, a result, obviously, of the quarterback problems. Or we'd have maybe a different game score-wise, obviously.
That's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct against Paulsboro. Something happening right toward the end of that play. These officials wanting to make sure that they maintain control of this football game. Not allowing anything to get out of hand.
Frappoli wants the football, but it's not going to happen as it was a dead ball situation.
Well, that's one of the big rule changes this year, that until possession is taken by one team, any penalty which occurs during that particular play can have effect on one team gaining a first down. But as you mentioned, it being a dead ball foul, they'll just mark the penalty off from the...
It's a dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike, against the Red. There'll be a 1st and 25.
Well, the result of the dead ball is the 15 yards tacked on after the placement of the football at the 47. So they will move it back. Let's see, what, to the 37 or the 32? They're a little confused themselves.
25 from their own 37-yard line.
37. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 guys in striped shirts. I think they get it straight, and they do. They mark it at the 37. Now Bell, who's playing tight end, moves over as Harvey steps back as a flanker. But it will be Bradshaw, and again the defensive line for Florence, looking much stronger here in the second half. You know, when you look down the line, Steve, you look at all the numbers, they've changed positions is what they've done. Different guys playing in different spots. It's the same players, but in different positions, and it's worked to their advantage.
No, it certainly has. They've been certainly much more effective here in the second half. They've not allowed Paulsboro to score, so they certainly have made some adjustments, and that's what coaching is all about. Sometimes when you watch a team on film, it's not until you really get the opportunity to go out there and play against them that you get a true feel for what they're capable of doing.
Harvey wants Harvey. Greg has it. Is taken down, and it's going to depend on the spot whether or not he gets the first down. Good job done defensively on the tackle by Jason Hand. I would say they're short.
Well, that's an excellent example of the arm of Kevin Harvey. We know how great of a runner he is. He throws that ball about 25, 30 yards with a lot of zip on it. Greg Harvey was the split receiver to the right-hand side. He goes down about 15, 17 yards and just hooks up in the open zone. Still going to give him a third down and about 11 to go.
That's correct. That was the original line of scrimmage, not the first down marker as I had it. 3rd and 11. Fakes the draw. Now pressure. Harvey gets away from the first 3, the first 5, the first 6, and appears to have the first down. That is all Greg Harvey, and that's why he's first team All-South Jersey in the Courier Post, the only underclassman on the offensive club.
For some of the viewers who have not had the opportunity to see Kevin Harvey in action, on the play prior to this one, you saw the arm of Kevin Harvey. Now you're going to see the great running ability. One-on-one coverage, feeling the pressure on the inside. He avoids 2. There's the third tackle, sheds him. Now he turns on the speed, and then the little move down at the end is what enables him to just be able to pick up that first down.
Now a little confusion for the first time as they go trips right. DePietro remains, and fullback Harvey on the quarterback draw, or because of the possible busted alignment decides to keep it himself and make something out of nothing. He'll pick up at least 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Well, I think that last play was a good example of some of the changes that Florence has made. Although Harvey was successful in getting out of that predicament there in terms of feeling the pressure on the inside, Florence is doing just a much better job of putting the pressure on Harvey, making him throw the ball a little bit quicker than he would like. That time forcing him out of the pocket. It was just his great running ability which enabled him to be able to pick up that first down.
Under 9 minutes to play now in the 4th quarter, and probably the ball game at this point. Not much chance of overtime. Harvey wants to keep it again. Oh, steps inside of 2 players. He did get the benefit, I think, of a clip as they throw the flag. But if you are a defender for Florence, these are not the defensive films that you want to watch when Harvey is running the football and you're in position theoretically to make the tackle.
Well, this is what he loves, is the open field, and you cannot allow him to get to the outside. You have to make sure somebody's on containment. Now he sees the field. I don't know if we'll be able to pick up the clip. The Paulsboro coaching staff is not real happy, but it certainly was a clip. Good call by our officiating crew. Harvey still going. These people here on the Paulsboro sidelines, they just can't believe some of the things that they see out of this young man, and you would think that they would have seen it all this season. But each and every time that he gets out in that open field, he shows people something a little bit different.
Well, he is now credited with 20 touchdowns on the season, 122 points. He has also thrown 10 touchdown passes. He came into the ball game over 700 yards on 70 carries, averaging 10-plus yards a carry. Can't ask for much more from anyone, but certainly not from a quarterback. Trips left again on 2nd and long. Lofts it this time, finds the open man, Greg Harvey. Greg Harvey is going to have a first down about the 21-yard line. And Kevin Harvey at quarterback doing it all on this drive.
Absolutely, and again, you have to go back to the point that too many times in the defensive secondary, they're giving this offense too much room to work with. There's times where they come up and put a lot of pressure defensively. They go with the one-on-one tight coverage, top of your screen 3. Look at the room that these receivers have.
There's nobody there.
not within 20, 15, 20 yards, and they allow Harvey to set up. Greg Harvey's out there just waiting for the ball. There's nobody even in the picture yet as the ball comes down. It was not a real sharp pass, but enough to get there and make the reception.
Oh, nearly caught on the rebound by Isaac Hardy. There will be an interference call, apparently, as Greg Harvey was in the air, and it appears that he was hit before the ball got there. I think that will be the call.
Well, it was a very close play there as Jason Hand came in and made the contact prior to the ball getting here. Here we're going to see at the end of the play the reception and the shot.
Oh my goodness, look at that shot.
Right,
They didn't call that penalty at all.
And that's where they have to maintain control of this ball game and not allow things to get out of hand right there in front of the official.
Yeah. Giroux apparently frustrated. He has not had the kind of day he's been accustomed to all year.
First down.
So the parade to the end zone will continue apparently in this drive. It has been Harvey, Harvey, Harvey. They will now take the ball half the distance and mark it at the 12, where it'll be 1st and 10. Glenn Howard letting Kevin Harvey have his way on this drive.
That will be a first down for the Raiders at the Florence 13-yard line.
Well, it's really been the passing game today. Certainly Kevin Harvey's had his opportunities to run the ball, but they are really pulling out all the stops in terms of putting this ball in the air.
Long count, and it draws Florence offsides as Russ Maggio finds his way into the backfield. Let's see if someone on the Paulsboro side drew him. Nope, Maggio will be whistled for the penalty.
It's a dead ball foul, encroachment against the white.
So well coached. You saw the play by Weber, the center, Steve, as soon as Maggio crossed. Snap that ball and get the call.
For the Raiders at the Florence 8-yard line.
Hardy is now split to the near side, Nevis to the far side. It will be DePietro, smells end zone, and it's going to be a 9-yard touchdown run for Eric DePietro. That will be his 8th touchdown of the year.
At Florence 0.
Well, it's nothing fancy. They've been doing it in the air. Now they turn and do it on the ground. DePietro always able to find the openings. Good job of that right-hand side again of that offensive front. Davis, Peck, and Weber opening up the hole. DePietro going the 9 yards, you mentioned, in for the score.
7:33 remaining to play in the fourth, 27-0. Lucci looking for his 4th successful conversion of the day. Good snap, good hold, good kick, and he does it. So he now has 44 PATs on the season, and the home team is up 28-0. There is a flag. We'll wait and see what that is.
Very likely could be, again, another personal foul against Florence. A lot of things happening out there, a few altercations from both sides. A lot of frustration on the Florence sideline right now. Certainly coming into this game with a lot of high hopes. Glenn Howard out there talking to the officials. And he's a little concerned about things getting out of hand.
Now that's the guy in charge, Bill Swanson, the referee today, who's you've heard from frequently and we'll hear from again.
We have a,
I got an unsportsmanlike conduct against.
okay.
Now apparently a late flag may be against the Paulsboro coaching staff for being too vehement in their concern and criticism.
Well, we'll have to see who the first penalty is against. They could be offsetting, or it could really set Paulsboro back a long way.
Well, 28-0. It's rather clear as we listen to the call
Dead
first.
ball foul, personal foul against the white, dead ball foul on sportsmanlike against the red.
Everything should negate here, and we'll wind up kicking the ball from where it is scheduled normally to be kicked from, the 40.
But I'd be surprised at a coach who's upset after just getting a 15-yard penalty. I know the Paulsboro coaching staff is concerned about these officials keeping control of this game, not allowing things to get out of hand, but you certainly have to give them credit. They threw the flag. They had called the penalty. And for you to get so upset that you would now negate the penalty with the unsportsmanlike conduct, certainly is not a positive thing for Paulsboro right now, but certainly nothing they have to be concerned with that 28-0 lead.
Lucci to kick. Good boot. Connolly
Conley on the carry.
pays for that. He gets the ball out to about the 22-yard line. A lot of pushing and shoving. So the Burlington County Freedom Division champs are going to end this year on a losing note. And Paulsboro, the Colonial Conference champions, are going to successfully defend their South Jersey Group 1 championship. A storybook season for Glenn Howard and troops. What will be an 11-0 year. First in school history. First Colonial championship since '86. And a successful defense of the Group 1. Dead ball foul again. Paulsboro to be penalized 5.
Winding.
They have now scored 385 points this season, Steve. Not bad. And given up but 75.
Right, it's that balance that you mentioned, the offense and the defense, that makes them a great team. They're not concerned with just one side of the ball. There's again motion. We'll go back 5 yards now as Conley was set. It looked like to be in a shotgun formation.
Yeah, Shamiko, 76 jump.
Awful deep for a shotgun, almost looked like a punt formation, but possibly looking to air things out here to try to maybe get a score. As time runs out here in the fourth period. Right now, the officials want to keep that clock running.
The Paulsboro Municipal Building where Santa Claus will turn on the lights at Christmas tree. 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Connolly will await the snap deep. In the middle, up in the air, almost picked off. After it bounces around, Isaac Hardy had visions of a touchdown there. Did not get it. Now, the only negative in Paulsboro today, Steve, is the Christmas parade scheduled for this evening has been postponed till Sunday night. And I know that disturbs you and destroys your plans. You understand you had a room in the Holiday Inn in Bridgeport preparing for the parade tonight.
Well, there's going to be a lot of excitement in the town of Paulsboro. This is a community that really rallies around their football program, as well in Florence also. A lot of great support on both sides of the field today. And certainly it was going to be climax. A lot of people looking forward to the parade, that not only for the Christmas spirit, but also for the opportunity to recognize this fine football team.
Taylor, with nowhere to go, was originally chased down by Artis Ruffin, and then the tackle was made by Matt Davis, and there'll be a loss. When they go with that sweep formation, it's the only time, Steve, that they go unbalanced, and they pretty much tell you that's the play that's coming.
And it's a play that takes a long time to develop. I don't know if that was a penalty that was just called or not. I don't see a flag on the field.
Procedure. There was a procedure against Florence.
Well, that normally means a dead ball foul. I don't know how you have a procedure. Usually that they blow the whistle right away and don't allow the play to be run, but motion must have happened just prior to the snap of the ball.
Well,
therefore, they allow the play to be run, and Paulsboro has the opportunity to decline it to bring up the third down.
Taylor will get very little, and what he does get is irrelevant at this point. It simply brings up a fourth and about 13. And the clock just continues to run. Not fast enough for Florence, probably, although they'd love to get some scores. Glenn Howard today will pick up his 57th victory against 16 losses. The Paulsboro graduate, University of Minnesota great and Philadelphia Stars player, had an impact on this community and on this high school and on this football team.
And of course, Kevin Harvey will be back. He has 2 more years to play here at Paulsboro, and There's always this talk of how they will utilize his talents, whether he'll stay at the quarterback position, whether they'll use him in the backfield. A lot of fine young players coming up each and every year. Although they graduate a good core of seniors, they always seem to have someone available to replace them. You mentioned another All-South Jersey selection, Bell, who will be back also to anchor that defensive front. You also have Peck and Weber, who are only juniors. There's always some guys to fill in the backfield. Greg Harvey is also only a junior. Artish Ruffin gained over 100 yards last week against Paulsboro. Will probably be the tailback for next year.
Eric DePietro on the carry.
DePietro adds to his totals. Got to be the unsung guy offensively for Paulsboro, Eric DePietro.
Well, they had to replace 2 good backs last year, and a lot of people were not sure how it was going to be done. And certainly a lot of people didn't think it was DePietro to be doing have the kind of year that he has had this season. But again, it says a lot for that offensive line up front. A fine job that they do. You probably could even do a good job running the football behind that offensive line.
Your eyes get very big when you see the holes that are being opened. Whoops, slips down and falls Artish Ruffin on the counter play and will be taken down and covered by Pepe Pichet.
Oh, they want to keep the ball on the ground right now. We've said their game plan coming in seemed to indicate that they felt that they could throw the ball effectively against this Florence defense. They get a lot of room on the corners. We saw earlier in the ball game Paulsboro running a lot of short hook passes. Harvey's thrown downfield a number of times. Right now, though, they like to keep that clock running and keep the ball on the ground as much as possible.
3.5 minutes remaining to play. Ruffin dragged down.
Ruffin on the carry.
Not much of a gain there. But another penalty flag down. Rooks had made the stop and now really upset out there is one of the defenders.
Well, just
Maggio apparently had it whistled against him.
A few seconds ago, Glenn Howard getting to Woodard dumped on him.
Yep.
One of the assistants, I didn't get the opportunity to see who that was down the sideline, also got it dumped on him. Certainly going to be a lot of happy people on the sideline. Glenn Howard's got to be very, very pleased with the performance of his club this year. Can't say enough for 11-0 and how dominating they have been. A couple weeks ago, the game against Sterling, so many people anticipated that ball game as being one in which Paulsboro would finally see a team that could really give them a challenge, and they handled Sterling so easily, shutting down that fine running attack and moving the ball effectively in the air.
Was it John Crane got it in the gray sweatshirt?
That's who it looked like.
Uh-huh. They'll take it and love it. Under 3 minutes now. There he goes, but he will not make the end zone. Ruffin just stopped about 3 yards shy. He will have a first down. They will stop the clock as there is an injured or stunned Florence player. The gentleman who made the tackle, do not see the number. Is it Connolly? It is Mike Connolly, number 11. The senior has played very well for Florence all season long and done so much for them today, not only playing rather strongly defensively, but also having to come in and play quarterback for the injured Marcus Smith. And we have a chance to talk about that, Steve, at this point. Any opportunity I think that Florence really had, if they had one at all against this strong Paulsboro team, ended when Marcus Smith went to the sidelines and was handed the pair of crutches.
Well, we say coming into this game, Paulsboro was a heavy favorite, and so many things had to break Florence's way. Number one, they were going to have to do the job defensively. They were going to have to contain Harvey. I felt force him to put the ball in the air. I felt that the weather could have been a situation that could have benefited them more than Paulsboro. Possibly if it rained real hard, made conditions very difficult to play. It may have favored them in their game. Certainly mistakes were going to be a big part of it. Mistakes hurt them at the end of the second quarter, giving over the ball to Paulsboro. And certainly the loss to Smith was very big. Took them out of their game plan. Smith had the ability to run that offense. Good passing quarterback. Would have really been able to keep this Paulsboro defense a little bit more off balance.
Officially marked at the 4. Harvey dips inside on the end zone, on the option, and Harvey has his 3rd touchdown of the day.
And we keep saying it over and over again. He makes it look so easy. The option to the left-hand side. He finds the opening, and once he sees that opening on the inside, does just a nice, super job breaking up inside as quickly as he can. And right now, they're starting to approach their average for points scored on the season. We said coming in here, a little over 36 points a game, giving up less than a touchdown. So here in the finals of the South Jersey Group 1 Championship, they've maintained that offensive and defensive performance they've exhibited throughout the course of this year.
The Lucci kick is good. It is now 35 to nothing.
Red Raiders 35 and Florence 0. Win 2-24.
So Lucci's been perfect, and Paulsboro pretty much has been perfect. Oh, and now another assistant taking a little dousing on the sideline. They're getting them all. They got another bucket ready for somebody else.
Ladies and gentlemen, in tomorrow's parade will be your Paulsboro Red Raiders.
Well, there's the sideline for Paulsboro as they congratulate each other. There's no doubt about the outcome of this ball game now. It's been a long season, a team that's worked very, very hard to get where they are today. There's certainly a lot of talent out on this team, but it takes a good coaching staff to put it all together. And of course, that goes for both sides of the field. Florence, year in and year out, has some excellent athletes. And as they look back on their season, there's going to be some disappointment after today's ball game when you finish up with a loss. But they certainly have worked very hard and have to be very happy about what they've been able to accomplish this season. 6-0 in the conference, winning their conference championship. The number 3 seed getting the opportunity to play here in the Group 1 championship. So certainly they have to be very happy about that. I know there certainly is, we said, a lot of disappointment in terms of their performance here today, but certainly a good, successful season.
Yeah, that kind of gets lost, doesn't it, in a 35 to nothing final ball game. It'll take a while for them to get over the sting and hurt from this one, but they will bounce back, as all young people do, and hopefully remember the good times. Lucci again to kick. No, not onside. Oh, I thought they were going onside. Everybody coming over to the right. Taylor will take it at the 10. He'll look for the right sideline. He has a wall, but Artis Ruffin found the crack in the wall and handles Taylor as he approaches the 25-yard line, and there's another flag. Run the clock, guys. What do you think?
Now 2:15, as you said, left in the ball game, and right now that's all these officials want to do. Let's get through this ball game without anybody getting seriously hurt, without any major altercations. I think they're going to come over and talk to the coaching staff right now. Personal foul is going to go against Paulsboro, and they're talking to Glenn Howard right now, and they're not happy with what's going on the field.
You know, if they toss somebody in this game, interesting question, Steve. Do they get tossed from the opening game next season if they are a returning player?
Well, that was always my understanding. Of course, that would only apply to those underclassmen. And of course, when you talk about underclassmen, Marcus Smith, the junior, Darnell Taylor, a sophomore. Certainly some fine players for this Florence team to build their program around next year.
They'll have 3 of the linemen returning, Gola and Zartorsky and Poland. In the ball game now is Cesar Parida. Again, the sophomore getting a little action. Will no doubt be the quarterback next season. He saw action on one drive in the first half before Connolly came in and took over the reins for the injured Smith. He'll gain a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9. And again, there will be a fumble. Parida is able to handle it himself, however, and he'll get a few bumps to remember, and he'll also see a penalty flag. 1:27 to go, and it's now a question of how quickly it can run out. So this will be the 8th in a row for Gloucester County teams, the 14th of the last 15 in South Jersey Group 1. It will be the 7th championship for Paulsboro, winning in 79, 80, 82, 84, 86, and last year 92, and now winning again in 93. And if the score continues this way, Steve, this will be their 5th shutout of the season.
Well,
Not bad.
They certainly have accomplished this 11-0 season in very impressive form. Probably the closest challenge they had was their semi-final victory over Gloucester, a team that for 2.5 quarters played them very tough, had themselves in a position where only down 18 to 13 could have found themselves with the score up ahead of Paulsboro, but Paulsboro turned on the juices, got the offensive game going.
Remember the big play of that game, I still say, was when Harvey was thrown for a loss in the backfield, but the defensive end was called for a face mask, and Paulsboro was able to go in and get the touchdown and pull out to a 1.5-score lead. Little plays that get lost in a season. Again, in what has become a familiar sight, the quarterback has trouble with the snap. So we'll go to the 20-second mark now, and the clock will continue to run, and hopefully Florence will not call a timeout, as it is over. If I were the officials, I would not even recognize it, but they do, as Florence apparently feels with 10 seconds to go, they're going to score 36. Don't think it's going to happen, but hey, that's an athlete, isn't it? And that's the challenge. We're not going to give it up till it's totally over.
Well, sometimes it's also an attitude, and we're going to give it everything that we can. We want to go out on a positive note. And one thing we want to be concerned with here is that nothing happens here at the end of the ball game to reflect negatively on such a fine game here. Certainly a fine game for Paulsboro. Not up to the expectations of the Florence people, the coaching staff, and probably certainly the players, but something you learn from, something you work on, and knowing that they're going to have to work that much harder if they want to get back here again next year and hopefully be able to pull out a victory in this same game.
Well, let's see what Florence can do on this 3rd down with 10 seconds to go. Not going to do anything yet, as there'll be another dead ball situation. Oh my. Mr. Swanson, the referee, has earned his money today. Parita's throw in the air, picked off by Bradshaw. There's a penalty flag. Bradshaw looking for running room, turns upfield. It's going to be the final play. Another penalty flag. That will be the ball game. If the officials are smart, they will not go back and run another play. Forget the flag, but I think they're going to call roughing the passer. It is all getting out of hands now.
This is why you hated to see that timeout there at the end. There was nothing positive that was going to come out of that last play. And you're absolutely right. These referees would be well advised to say that's the ball game.
Yeah, let's see how they sort it out.
Gentlemen, let's have a big hand for our undefeated Paulsboro Red Raiders. Undefeated 11-0 Group 1 champions.
They're sure not going to run a play, one hopes. Come on, Bill. Nobody will turn you into the state if you say that was it. Offsetting penalties making. Well, Paulsboro's on the field celebrating as if to say it's over.
Final score of Paulsboro Red Raiders.
I can't believe they're still talking this one over. This would seem to be a simple decision.
Yep.
We just hope that both teams will show a lot of sportsmanship, line themselves up, congratulate each other.
It's over. 35-0. A successful end to a great season for Paulsboro. 11-0. Colonial Conference champs and successful defense of the South Jersey Group 1 championship. They'll finish 11-0. Florence will fall to 9-2. We'll be back with some final words right after these messages. Well, Paulsboro has made more trips to the playoffs than any other public school in South Jersey, and today, with their 7th victory, set the record for the most playoff championships in South Jersey. They began playing this back in 1975, and Paulsboro has loved it ever since. They win this one 35-0. Steve, the word has to be balance. Balance, along with a key player in Kevin Harvey.
So when the coaching staff looks back and watches the tapes of this ball game, they're going to see a team that did everything that they were capable of doing today in a South Jersey Group 1 championship game.
Hello.
We're seeing Harvey here on the run for a touchdown, but it's balanced. They threw the ball well today. They ran the ball effectively when they had to. Such a strong defense, a strong offensive line. And this is a great, great football team. We said this is a rich tradition here at Paulsboro, but they're going to look back on this one as something special.
Well, they had the fine seniors Lucci and Davis on the lines, along with the tight end Georgiani, and in the backfield, Tyrone Bradshaw, Eric DePietro, Ruffin, 20-some touchdowns this season amongst them and between them, and Harvey himself now picking up, 21 TDs on the year to go with the 10 touchdown passes. Offensively so strong. On the other side, you look at it, and defensively, Brian Peck, the fine junior, will be back, but Davis and Bell, another junior, will be back, and DePietro and Hampton. Hampton, just a sophomore, he'll be back. I mean, just some great football players here. There is little, if any, question that as the coaches here put this team together, and Glenn Howard picked up his 57th win of his career, a short one, just 7 years. What a way to go out, 11-0. Colonial Conference champs, South Jersey Group 1 champs.
Not only a reflection of just this team, but how strong this program is, and what a fine job, as you mentioned, that these coaches have done in terms of keeping this program rolling along. 7 victories now in Group 1 championship play, a team that's got to be very proud. There's Eric DePietro, and we've said a lot of positive things about him and the great season he's had, but you can go up and down that line, and if anything is evident here to this afternoon with that 35-0 victory, is that this is a great team and put forth a great team effort.
And they did it against a pretty fine club from the Burlington County area. Florence coming in 9-1 and having defeated Palmyra twice, including in the South Jersey semifinal. They have nothing to be ashamed about. They'll have to lick their wounds over this one and then regroup, as they always do. Joe Frappoli has the ability to do that. He's been known to do it over the 20 years that he's been with the Flashes. He'll do it again. Once again, the final score: Paulsboro, the South Jersey Group 1 champs, 35, Florence, nothing. Now for Storer Communication and Steve Crispin, I'm Mike Lindner. Thanks for joining us. We'll look for you next time.